One broken down luxury car, one split-second decision that rewrote 2 lives forever. A single father buried under false accusations, working himself to the bone to shield his little girl from the nightmare of foster care. He was racing home through a storm that felt like the universe itself was screaming at him when he spotted her, a soaked stranger waving frantic arms beside a crimson sedan worth more than his entire existence. He could have floored it. He should have floored it. Every fiber of his exhausted body begged him to keep moving. But Damien Wells stopped. And that single act of raw, reckless kindness. It detonated a chain reaction of miracles, danger, and a love story so electric it'll leave you breathless. Welcome to Midnight Tales, where the darkest nights birth the brightest dawns. Before we plunge into this rollercoaster of fate, drop a comment and tell us, where on this spinning planet are you tuning in from tonight? We're obsessed with seeing how far these tales travel, from Lahore's bustling streets to quiet corners across the globe. The windshield wipers slashed through the downpour like frantic metronomes, each swipe echoing the chaos clawing at Damien's skull. His eyes stung from the double shift, 14 hours of heaving crates, scanning barcodes, muscles screaming for mercy he couldn't afford. Because stopping meant thinking. Thinking meant crumbling. 3 weeks. That red circle date on the kitchen calendar loomed like a guillotine. 3 weeks until the trial that could rip his 7-year-old daughter, Amelia, from his arms and toss her into the cold machinery of the system. Amelia with her gap-toothed grin, her mismatched shoes, her bedtime whispers of "Daddy, will the monsters get us?" He'd lost everything else. His wife bailed with a scribbled note when Amelia was 2, claiming motherhood wasn't her vibe. But losing Amelia, that would shatter him into pieces no duct tape could fix. Then the hazard lights pierced the storm's curtain, weak, desperate blinks from a sleek red sedan parked crooked on Maple Avenue's shoulder. The car screamed money, custom rims, tinted windows, the kind of ride that turned heads and crushed dreams. Beside it stood a woman, silhouette sharp against the headlights' glare, one hand shielding her face, the other stabbing at a phone that clearly wasn't cooperating. Damien's foot eased off the gas. His beat-up sedan slowed to a crawl. "Keep driving, you idiot," the voice in his head snarled. "You're dead on your feet. She's got AAA, private jets, a Rolodex of rescuers. You've got a court date and a kid who needs you alive." But her shoulders, hunched, trembling, whether from the icy rain or sheer frustration, hooked something deep in his chest. His mother's voice sliced through the noise, crystal clear. "Character, Damien. It's not what you do when life's a breeze. It's what you do when the world's caving in." His jaw locked. The world was already caving. Gregory Phillips, that smug, silver-spooned parasite, had framed him like a masterpiece. 6 months ago, $47,000 vanished from their tiny landscaping firm's accounts. Gregory pointed fingers, produced evidence tighter than a noose, doctored ledgers, forged signatures, an email trail that screamed Damien's guilt. Gregory had lawyers who golfed with senators, connections that opened doors Damien couldn't even knock on. His court-appointed attorney, Mr. Flores, had kind eyes and a voice heavy with pity. "The evidence looks brutal, Damien. I believe you, but proving it, that's a mountain." Conviction meant 5 years. 5 years of Amelia growing up without bedtime stories, without his terrible pancake attempts, without the only parent she had left. 5 years of her navigating foster homes, learning to trust strangers because her daddy was locked away for a crime he didn't commit. The image of her clutching her stuffed rabbit, whispering "Where's Daddy?" through prison glass, it was a knife twisting in his gut. His car rolled to a stop behind the sedan. Rain hammered him the second he stepped out, soaking his threadbare jacket in seconds. He raised both hands, palms open, approaching slow like she was a spooked deer. Midnight on a deserted road, a strange man emerging from the storm. "Recipe for terror. Mom." He shouted over the roar. "You okay? Car trouble?" She spun, body coiled tight, eyes wide with fear that morphed into wary assessment. Water cascaded down her face, plastering dark hair to sharp cheekbones. Her clothes, designer, even Damien could tell, clung like a second skin. Then, decision made, she nodded. It just died. Won't turn over. Her voice cut through the chaos, steady, commanding, the kind that silenced boardrooms. Mind if I look? Not a pro, but I've nursed enough junkers to maybe spot something. Another beat of hesitation. Then, please. I'd appreciate it. She popped the hood. Damien leaned in, rain needling his neck, the engine's warmth a fleeting comfort. For a moment, the storm faded. This was a problem he could touch, fix, conquer, not like the legal avalanche burying him. His fingers danced over wires, batteries, connections. Bingo. Battery terminals are loose. He yelled. Pothole probably jarred him. Got tools? No. Nothing. He jogged to his trunk, water streaming into his eyes, and hauled out his toolkit, duct-taped, battered, a survivor like him. As he tightened connections, scraped corrosion with a rag's edge, he talked to fill the void, the way he did when Amelia's nightmares struck. Battery's ancient. Swap it soon. Gas station 2 miles up has 'em cheap. He felt her gaze, intense, analytical, like she was cataloging him. Even drenched, she radiated authority, the kind of presence that bent rooms to her will. Not just rich. Powerful. The type who made decisions that rippled. Connection secured, he straightened. Try now. She slid behind the wheel. Key turn. Engine roared alive, headlights slicing the night. Relief transformed her face, open, radiant, human. How much do I owe you? He waved it off, backing toward his car. Just glad it worked. Wait. Your name, for the thank you. Their eyes locked. Rain blurred everything, but he saw gratitude, respect, something deeper, like she'd glimpsed his soul and approved. Damien, he said, too tired for caution. Damien Wells. Thank you, Damien Wells. Her voice warmed the cold. You saved my night. If only you knew, he thought, sliding into his sedan. If only you knew you just helped a man the world's branding a thief. He drove off, her hazards fading in the mirror. He never asked her name. In 3 weeks, names wouldn't matter. He was wrong. 3 weeks later, Hartford County Criminal Court swallowed him whole. Cheap suit borrowed from Mr. Flores, because who could afford tailoring on warehouse wages? Hands clammy, heart jackhammering, Damien sat rigid as the bailiff boomed, all rise for the Honorable Judge Kendall Ross. He stood on jelly legs, eyes glued to scuffed linoleum. Couldn't look up. Couldn't face the face deciding if he'd tuck Amelia in tonight or rot for half a decade. Then instinct tugged. He glanced. And the world tilted. Black robes flowing, posture regal, Mecca. Those eyes. That quiet command. His mind catapulted to the rain-soaked night, the woman whose battery he'd saved. No. Impossible. But the more he stared, the surer he became. Lighting harsh now, hairpin severe, not loose and wild. Yet the bone structure, the authority, it was her. His hands gripped the table. Say something. Your Honor, fix your car lately. Absurd. Mr. Flores scribbled notes, oblivious to Damien's internal earthquake. Judge Ross scanned files, face a mask. No flicker. No nod. Was he hallucinating hope? Proceedings blurred. Prosecutor's smug opening. Mr. Flores's desperate counter. Damien stole glances, each confirming yet denying. Odds. Astronomical. Then the prosecutor flashed photocopied docs. Judge Ross leaned in, eyes lasers. Mr. Davis, these are copies of copies. Originals. Breath caught. Her voice, same timbre. But neutral. Professional. Concerns here. This court demands authenticity. Mr. Flores, forensic exam granted. Reconvene with verified evidence. Gavel cracked. Courtroom buzzed. Mr. Flores whispered feverishly, unprecedented. We're alive. Damien barely heard. Eyes on her retreating form. Was it her? Had she saved him back? Or was despair weaving illusions? In chambers, Kendall Ross sagged against the door, pulse racing. Damien Wells. The rain-soaked Samaritan who'd refused payment, smiled through exhaustion, vanished into the night. She'd clocked his recognition, double-take, hope, doubt. But acknowledgement. Recusal. Case to Judge Patterson, 94% convictions, 0 mercy. She'd bent ethics into pretzels. Demanded exams denied for budget. Fought for a man she'd met once. But the evidence? Tissue paper thin. Damien was being steamrolled. Letting innocence rot because protocol said hands off. Unacceptable. Justice sometimes demanded rebellion. 2 weeks crawled like centuries. Damien Robot walked through life, warehouse shifts, Amelia pickups from Mrs. Marin, bedtime tales with forced cheer. Nights. Staring at ceilings, replaying her face. Was it her? Why the exam? Coincidence? Miracle? Daddy, you're thinking too loud, Amelia mumbled one night, burrowing closer. Keeps me awake. Sorry, baby. Court thing. Yeah. Mrs. Marin says judges are fair. Help good people. Hope so, Emmy. Tuesday, Mr. Flores called mid-shift. Voice trembling, forensic report. Gregory fabricated everything. Digital trails nail him. You're clear. Damien collapsed onto crates, tears flooding. Tomorrow. Judge Ross reconvenes. Judge Ross. Tomorrow, truth. After review, she intoned from the bench, voice steeled, prosecution's case collapses on fraud. Digital records prove Gregory Phillips embezzled. Charges against Damien Wells dismissed with prejudice. Chaos erupted. Damien floated, tears blurring. Free. Furthermore, she cut through noise, referring Gregory Phillips for fraud, forgery, obstruction. Gavel slammed. Their eyes met, fraction of a second. Confirmation. She'd known. Fought. Risked all. But she vanished into chambers before he could speak. Mr. Flores babbled lawsuits, compensation. Damien stared at the door. Thank you. How? 6 weeks blurred into normalcy's sweet haze. Better job, hardware store, steady hours, benefits. Home for dinners. Amelia's fridge art exploded in rainbows, daddy free. But the itch remained. No proper thanks. No confirmation. Aisle 7, restocking wipers, ironic, when, excuse me, battery terminals. He turned. Her jeans, sweater, hair loose, smile sly. You, he breathed, box crashing. New in court. Thought I imagined. You recognized me. How could I not? Coffee mug shattered. You knew. From the file. Recusal meant Patterson, he'd bury you. You risked everything. I'd do it again. Hardware store mundanity, screws, paints, felt holy. Why? That night showed your soul. Stopped in storm, exhausted, facing hell. Used duct-taped tools, refused cash. Integrity. Couldn't let the system crush that. Tears stung. Saved my life. Amelia's. You saved mine first. Showed goodness exists. Never got your name. Kendall Ross. Maybe fate withheld. Your trial, Amelia waited hallway. Drew you. Superhero cape. Magic hammer. He laughed, surprised. She tells everyone. Coffee. Case closed. Heart soared. Absolutely. Saturday cafe, Amelia in yellow princess dress, artwork arsenal. Magic hammer lady. Kendall melted. Hi, Emmy. Drawing thrust, you with gape. Superheroes need gapes. Beautiful. Pancakes. Damien, Amy, tornado. Tornadoes powerful. Laughter flowed. Amelia's tales, Mr. Fluffington's grocery quests. Spills. Mustache. Daddy's girlfriend. Mortification. Mrs. Marin said. Kendall, friends first. Bracelets. Eyes met. Natural. Fated. Coffee dates multiplied. Zoo handholds for safety. Dinners sans kid. Shared scars, lost parents, smoke alarm cooking, old movies. Month 3, Post-dinner, terrified seeing your name. But that night, you restored faith in goodness. You risked career. You'd risk Amelia. Not comparable. Kiss, fireworks. Month 6, fixture. Learned Amelia's mushroom hate, power up veggies. Damien's fix-it magic. Apartment's love overflow. Year +3, proposal planned. Park. Ring modest, sparkling. Mrs. Marin babysitting. Miscalculation, Amelia's secret keeping equals 0. Tree ambush, marry us yet. Ring burning pocket. Kendall's shock delight. Damien knelt amid gathering crowd. Saw me invisible. Believed when world didn't. Loved my chaos, not chaos. Enthusiastic. Enthusiastic daughter. Made us whole. Marry us. Yes. Forever. Amelia, told you. Mrs. Marino's $5. Applause. Ice cream. Spring wedding, garden glow. Mrs. Marin sobbed. Mr. Flory's toasted universe's justice. Amelia skip tile, joyful. Object. I'll fight. Karate. Rings, matchmaker rates reasonable. Vows, Damien, stop for strangers, duct tape hope. Kendall, justice with heart, embrace tornado. Reception, Amelia's floss lessons, DJ critiques, origin recaps. Dance, happiest ever. Dog. Maybe. Epilogue, Gregory jailed. System bent, not broken. Damien learned character echoes. Kendall, heart over rules. Amelia, strength, kindness, matchmaking. Family forged in rain, tempered in fire, shining eternal. Kindness boomerangs wildly. Subscribe Midnight Tales. Share. Comment your stranger kindness tale. We might feature it. Because we all can stop in storms. Wield magic hammers. Change worlds.